Hey, everybody. What we're talking about today is Social Security may not be attached. And I don't particularly participate in that system, but I have many friends that do. And some of them, they get to that point where they have nothing else, and it's either that or live in a cardboard box. I guess they take that. Um, anyways, um, and some of them are getting it stolen. And so this is the argument. And so here we go. I know several people, that is getting stolen. This is Title 42, United States Code, Section 407, Assignment of Benefits. This is actually, this whole section is on Social Security. But anyways, in general, the right of any person to any future payment under this subchapter shall not be transferable or assignable at law or in equity, and none of the monies paid or payable or rights existing under this subchapter shall be subject to execution, levy, attachment, garnishment, or other legal process of the operation of any bankruptcy or insolvency law. So it cannot be attached. No levy, no attachment, no nothing. No execution. Anyways, no other provision of law enacted before, on, or after April 20th, 1983 may be construed to limit, supersede, or otherwise modify the provisions of this section except to the extent that it does so by express reference to this section. That's paragraph B. And we'll go into the history here in a minute. Withholding of taxes. Nothing in this section shall be construed to prohibit withholding of taxes from any benefit under this subchapter, as such withholding is done pursuant to a request made in accordance with Section 3402P1 of the Internal Revenue Code by the person entitled to such benefit. Okay, so it's withholding of taxes. That's the only thing. Okay, so you have to volunteer. And this is the history. If you go to Legal Information Institute, this is the history. And if you look at the underlined sections, in 1988, they passed Public Law 105-277, and what that did is add subsection C. Okay, that's the withholding of taxes part. That was 1998. In 1983, Public Law 98-21 designated existing provisions as subsection A and subsection B. So what they did was just split it down and added subsection B. So in 1983, before 1983, all it was subsection A. And in 1983, they called that subsection A and added subsection B. So this was added in 1983, and originally all it was this. And in 1939, so this goes back to 1939, and they amended the section generally, and I guess there was a former section 408, that it became this. And then it goes to the text of 1983 too, if you look effective date of 1983 amendment. So that's all there is. Okay, so the point being is that the only thing they can do is if you volunteer to sign, that's a contract. And here it is, 26 USC section 3402, voluntary withholding agreements. It's got to be voluntary. It's got to be a contract. They got to get your signature. They cannot just start stealing it. And so if at the time specified federal payment is made to any person, or request is by such person is in effect, that such payment shall be subject to withholding. Okay, so it's voluntary. The voluntary withholding agreements, okay, it's got to be consented to. Amount withheld, the amount to be deducted and withheld under this chapter. Okay, so this is all voluntary. So I would suggest you go through and read this, but this section 3402, 26 USC section 3402 is all about voluntary. This is the Federal Tax Lien Act of 1966. This is all commercial. I mean, if you're going to play in this system, then be involved in Social Security, then you're in commerce, obviously. And So it's all commercial, and so this is the Federal Tax Lien Act. And these people are Satanists that are stealing Social Security. I mean, that's a foregone conclusion. They're thieves, okay? And anybody that lies or that's a thief is a Satanist by definition. And this is John 8:44, "You're of your father the devil, the lusts of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he's a liar and the father of it," okay? That's what Satanists do. They have no truth in them. They cannot speak the truth. They are liars. They are thieves. They are murderers, That's what the Satanists do. They cannot speak the truth. It's always a half-truth or a lie. And Revelations 21:8, "But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." So, they're all going to hell. But for those of you who are afraid of standing up to these people, I'm not sure that you're going to do too well either, because the fearful, you cannot be fearful. You have to stand up to these. There's a story in the War of 1812 where there was the British, I think it was in Baltimore is where this battle took place, the Francis Scott Key that authored the national anthem. "Oh, say, can you see the Star-Spangled Banner?" He wanted to. They were negotiating a prisoner release, and one of the they were on this British ship in the harbor of Baltimore, and they had talked to the admiral about they wanted a prisoner, and they had someone that was willing to take his place, and the admiral said, "Well, yeah, that's not a problem. I don't have a problem doing that, but in a while, it's not going to matter." And the entire British Armada was coming into the harbor, and so, but the colonists, the Americans, had, a bunch of them had sunk their own ships, off the coast, and so the British Armada couldn't get in close to fire their cannons and shoot the rockets. They couldn't get in close because the colonists had sunk their own ships in off the coast, and so that they couldn't get in close. And then they had this big flag that was up there that Betsy Ross had made, and it was a huge flag. It was one of those big flags you see, as big at least. Anyways, and so the flag is always the target, and the British knew it, and so did the colonists know it, and the Americans. And so they were shooting for the flag, trying to shoot that thing down, and they shot it down a whole bunch of times. And but in the morning, what happened is someone would run up there and hold it up and turn himself into a target in the process. And in the morning, there was a pile of bodies there. And that's the brave. That's what it means, the land of the brave. And if you're fearful, then you're not the brave. And so you got to stand up to these criminals. And we need to put this evil away from among us. That's the bottom line. And so if you're not brave, then, I'm sorry. I guess you're not going to do too well. Anyways, spirit prison, that's hell, by which he also went and preached into the spirits in prison. That's 1 Peter 3:19. And then Isaiah 24:21-22. "It shall come to pass in that day, the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, the kings of the earth upon the earth. They shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in prison, and after many days shall they be visited." So it's never over. You have to understand this and stand up to these pigs, and it is never ever over. It behooves every man who values liberty of conscience for himself to resist invasions of it in the case of others, or their case may, by change of circumstances, become his own. If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chain set lightly upon you, and may our posterity forget you. You are ever our countryman. Samuel Adams, one of the brave people, one of the people who was not fearful, wasn't afraid to stand up and be counted. When shall it be said in any country of the world, my poor are happy, neither ignorance or distress is to be found among them, my jails are empty of prisoners, my streets of beggars, the aged are not in want, the tax is not oppressive, the rational world is my friend, because I am friend of its happiness. When these things can be said, then may that country boast of its constitution and government. That's Thomas Paine. We have nothing to boast about here. We have a bunch of criminals that have seized control of the government. The jails are full of people. We have pigs running around populating the jails. We have beggars just about on every corner. The taxes are oppressive, and Social Security is nothing. And so this is just a video for those of you who are living on that nothing. These thieves try and steal that too, and so they can't do it. Okay, and so spread the word. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. This is my effort to make sure that I am blameless on Judgment Day. Either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. You're now a watchman. Circulate this video far and wide. Other videos: Bankster Thieves 1, 2, and 3, Churchianity series, Bankrupt Corporate Criminals, Bar Members 1 and 2, Unidroit, Martial Laws here, Quasi-Contracts and Roman Civil Law, De Facto Courts. I've got over 200 videos that I've uploaded. Copies of these documents can be found in my private group at Yahoo called Administrating-Your-Public-Servants. I have YouTube videos that are videos of private information shares that show these and other court citations that are available for a donation. Donations to support this work are appreciated. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept IOUs, Federal Reserve notes, PayPal gifts, checks, money orders. Send me an email for particulars. That last paragraph is for all the Satanists or revenue officer thieves that think that I'm getting some privilege or benefits. You can put your privileges and benefits up your rectal orifice. If you find this useful, then you need to pay it forward. If you don't know what pay it forward means, watch the movie. My blog is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com. My website is sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email is engineerwin@yahoo. My YouTube profile, Sovereign Living. Facebook, I'm in the process of eliminating all that stuff. Facebook is moderating or is censoring my posts. And so the way you hurt Facebook, and I'm going to do a YouTube video about this, the way you hurt Facebook is but you got to, is unfriend everybody, remove yourself from all your groups, and delete your profile. Because think about it, they advertise. That's how they make their money, is they do advertising, and their advertising is based on networks, on the people you associate with, on the networks. Okay, so when you unnetwork yourself, then that hurts them. Okay, so if you want to hurt Facebook, that's the way you got to do it. It's vote with your feet. Yahoo private group is Administrating Your Public Servants. Google private group is Administrating Your Public Servants. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. This is going to be a short one. But for those of you who have Social Security, spread the word, because these IRS thieves are stealing people's Social Security all over the place. And thanks for watching, and have a real nice day.